I've been thinking about how to even begin this video for the last 2 weeks, and I'm still struggling, but I'm just gonna speak. I've written at least 3 iterations, and none of them truly brings across what my heart really wants to say. I am trauma dumping, and then I'm leaving this in the past and we're moving on. I'm Tiffany, I'm 31, and for over 15 years, I abandoned myself. And you might want to know why or how could you even abandon yourself? You look pretty put together today. I am now trying again. It's the year 2026. Lots has happened, and I'm going back to finding myself. 2 weeks ago, I was in Ireland. Well, I've been in Ireland for a while. I came back yesterday, and one of the things I got the opportunity to do is to celebrate my niece's 8th birthday, and that is truly what triggered all of this. Seeing what an 8-year old is like and how innocent they are showed me that things happened to me at 8 years old that should have never happened. And I finally got the courage to tell both of my parents. I grew up with my mom mainly. She was a single mom. She did the best that she could, and she trusted me with persons or a specific person that had children around my age, older than I was, younger than I was. And some of the kids definitely touched me inappropriately. And for a very long time, I thought that in order for, well, one, I thought it was okay. I did. Um, because if I didn't, I know that I would have told an adult years ago. The first time I ever spoke about it was to my then boyfriend, now husband, and I didn't go into depth. I've actually never gone into to depth, um, but the two main ones that stand out to me is one, the daughter, and she's a few years older than I was, and it was always under the guise of, it was always under, let's play mommy and baby, which disgusts me. It disgusts me to my core, and I am so happy that I got to the point where I was able to say this out to the people that God entrusted me with, my parents. Now, my little munchkin turned 8, and something happened where I ended up on the phone with my mom, and I told her something in relation to my sister, and my sister is younger than me, 10 years. So she's young and she's wild and she's having fun, and I love it for her because, again, I grew up in a single home with my mom, which meant that my sister was my responsibility. And it shows me that I protected her so much that she's able to live her 20s as free as she can and be happy with life and enjoy all the beautiful things that life has to offer her without fear that if I either wear this that I'll attract this, or if I do this, like, she doesn't have to deal with that. And that makes me so happy of a sister, even though it was way too much put on me. It was, being very honest, it was too much. But I get to see her live full and free and happy. And I told my mom that I need for her to be a little bit softer with my sister because she was at a place, at least it was my understanding, she was at a place, my business phone is going off, it is after 8 and I should be at work. Well, I'm always working, but that's neither here nor there. Um, I told my mom I need for her to be softer with my sister because there was stuff that I was so scared to tell her because she was always just a stern mom or very protective or overly protective where I didn't feel safe sharing things with her. And she was so curious as to what. Just what are those things you're so scared to talk to me about? And I my delivery to these things were not the best, but with the hands I was dealt, when something burns you inside so much that you don't know how the hell to spit it out, you just spit it out. And I told her, I said, it's so crazy that none of my munchkin, and of course I was crying. I was crying. I was super emotional and it hurt and then it felt better. So that's the important thing. It felt so much more freeing after I told her. But I told her, you trusted me with people that you should have never trusted me with. And her first questions were like, okay, but Tiffany, why didn't you tell me? Why? And we went through, we went through talking about this back and forth for a few minutes. Then she would have brought up something on the lines of, you if you share this with like your dad or something like that, he's going to blame me, meaning her, my mom. And at that point I was like, oh, he should be involved in this too. I haven't talked to this man in over 5 years, and that's a whole different story in itself. I see him from time to time, but that's because he still lives at home with my aunt. And this is my great aunt, and I love taking care of my aunt whenever I can, and I love just spending time with her. And he goes back and forth in the house. So I called him, and I knew the last time we spoke, I cursed him out. And that's me being honest, because he wanted for me to pay for him to come to my wedding. It was again, that's not the point of this topic. And I remember then cursing him out. So calling him from my phone, I think he had blocked me. So I called him from my business phone on WhatsApp. And he answers. And I told him, I said, I said who I was, and I let him know that this happened to me as a child. And his important question was, so did they rape you? Said being touched inappropriately doesn't need to mean like penetration happened, and that wasn't like the first question I expected you to even ask. But I told him like I'm not in a position right now where I want to share at all. I don't want to go into details. I just want you to know that you as well, because my mom is saying that, oh, he's gonna think it's your fault. No, it's both your fault. It is both your fault because you are both responsible. You were both responsible for me between the ages of 8 to 14. And this happened. He was not there at all. um, Sorry, he would have showed up. He would have showed up every few months and given me $300 in like a company car. We stayed outside, and then I would have gone back inside with my mom, and he would have gone about his merry business. And that was it until I saw him again in the next few months. So it was both your responsibility. And now I'm 31 and I've had to hold on to all of this for so long. It's too much. It's too much. And I don't know. Okay, no. The day after this, I woke up stressed. And I knew I was stressed because I get cold sores. And if you look at my face, you'd see that it's healing. But when I'm stressed, I get cold sores, and this one was the biggest one I've had in about a year and some change. And my body felt lighter, but I just felt heavy, if that makes sense. And I let it go, and I had a conversation with my partner that day, and he was asking, well, what do you think, like, what do you want the outcome of this to look like? I told him I'm not sure, but I do feel better, and I'm happy that I was able to get it all out, and now I don't have to hold on to that no more, you know. I would have also, I don't know how life happened the way that it did last week. Oh my goodness. So the day after having that conversation with both my parents, it's like 8 hours later. And what I have to also say is, I told God, I don't profess to be like the biggest Christian on earth, but I'm probably not even a Christian, if I'm being honest. I believe in the God that I serve that has brought me to 31 and has put me through all the stuff is the same God that's going to take me through the day that I die. That is one thing I do believe. About 12 to 8 hours later, I get that my phone starts ringing, and it's the same lady. The first time I spoke to this lady was Thanksgiving, because I was in the VI for Thanksgiving, and I took her number, but I didn't use it. And so she randomly calls me, and I didn't answer. And I told my partner, I was like, she's calling me. I don't think my mom would have told her, because I asked my mom, just let me deal with this how I see fit. And she respected it. Well, I was hoping that she respected it, because I didn't speak to her either. And that other parent is always and it's just always angry with him. It's so angry with him. Everything has to be like so angry with the person, with him. I'm calling him now because this is going to end different, because I've closed that chapter. I'm closing that chapter. So I didn't answer, and like 30 minutes later, I walked out and I went for a walk on the treadmill, and I called her back, and she was asking me how I'm doing, like nothing is happening. And she was like, she told me that I've just been on her mind, and she hasn't heard from me since Thanksgiving, and she just wanted to wish me a happy new year. And I told her, I called her auntie, and I said, Auntie, can I talk to you? And she said, yes, of course. And I told her. She was in disbelief a bit, especially with the daughter, I think, more than the son for some reason. She was in disbelief a bit. But then she told me that something similar would have happened to her growing up. So you just see like these cycles, and she's telling me as well, I'm the first person she's ever told this. Like, this lady's almost 70. So just like generational cycles of the same thing, that it ends with me. It ends with me. This is not going to be taken to my daughter. It sure as hell didn't happen to my sister. It ends with me, and I'm taking the responsibility. We spoke, and she told me not to be a stranger, and that she needs to speak to God, and yada yada yada. She doesn't know if she's going to talk to her kids or what's not. I told her at this point, it is what it is. Whoop to do. um, I hung up from her, feeling much better, and 2 days later, no, a few days later, I was trying to call my aunt, the same aunt that lives with the same man, that my sperm donor, right? And usually I can just go through her. I could go to through other family members to get to her, and I tried. My cousin wasn't there at the time. Plus, she doesn't live there. My other cousin, she told me like maybe later in the day. I'm in Ireland, by the way, so I'm 5 hours ahead. But that's not as important, because that, well, kind of, because daytime for me, by after, when it's afternoon in St. Kitts or Nevis, it's like nighttime for me, and it's time for me to just wind down. I'm still spending time with my munchkin and family there, so like we're having like dinners together, stuff like that. And I decided, you know what, let me call this man back on my business phone to see if I can get to talk to my aunt. We haven't talked since then. Don't ask me, Tiffany, why did you, like, why you keep hurting yourself, dummy? Why? You're not dumb, but why you keep hurting yourself? Get it together. And I called him one time, he didn't answer. It's like, oh, maybe he just, I call him again, he didn't answer. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe, I don't know what encouraged me to call this man 3 times. 3 times. One, two, three. And all of them he ignored. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go take a nap because maybe he's busy. He's busy. Took a nap. I woke up. Like, I lie. I woke up because I had guests staying in the cabin that day. And I woke up like 2 hours later and it was already dark outside. And I remember just scrabbling because I'm like, snap, I have these guests that I'm picking up at 8. But everything was already set up. But I just like to be available in case of anything communication wise, right? And I checked my phone and I was like, oh, no response. Maybe, if I'm sleeping, maybe he took a nap. Who the hell knows? But again, life happened so crazy to me last week. I take up my personal phone and my cousin, well, she's not my cousin, she's my god sister. She's my sister, my god sister in Germany. She sends me this screenshot, right? And the screenshot was saying like an hour and a half ago, this man would have commented under a Facebook, because I don't have him on Facebook. I actually blocked him on Facebook. Commented 2 hours ago under 2 hours, yeah, under a very. I'm trying to figure out how to say this without calling names, because give me a second. So he would have commented under, let me say, I think it would have been, I would have fell asleep for 3 hours. It would have been 3 hours, and I know I was tired because of the time difference, and I wasn't sleeping very well. And finally I like just crashed, right? So I get up in all the rage. I get up trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Girl, it's dark outside, where's your guest, stuff like that. And the message said, the post, it was like, and he commented on this very powerful public figures post. Yeah, that's what I want to word it. And the man even responded, the powerful person responded to him, and he responded again. So your child, the one that, again, God would have entrusted in you, calls you days later after telling you she was essayed as a kid and you ignore her 3 times. But you, as a Christian, big Christian, very important Christian in the church, people look up to you, which is a different story for a different day, because I ain't here to judge nobody. But you don't answer her messages to see what the hell is going on. I just innocently wanted to talk to my aunt and I couldn't get through with anyone else, and I haven't spoken to her in months, in about a month because I spoke to her before I left. And you have the audacity not to answer the phone. So I crashed out. I crashed out, and I have this group chat with my mom and my sister, and I crashed out in there. And I told my mom, like, why would you do this to yourself? Truly, like, why would you make these kind of decisions? Like, did you not know the type of person this man is? I went in on her. I went in and I ended it with, I wish you had just like take a plan B with me. Like that should have been it. And the moment I said that, it hit me. Tiffany, this is not your first rodeo. This is not your second rodeo with this man. You just have to realize that everyone isn't meant to go where you're going. And at a point, I really thought that if the first man that God put in my life, or I came from, didn't love you, what makes you think others won't? What makes you think that people in this earth won't love you for you? And that was a belief I carried for years. That if that man didn't love me, no man will. No woman will. No, like I won't. I don't know why I thought I wouldn't be able to exist without this man. Girl, you crazy. And it was at that moment I realized never again. Never again would I allow you to make me crash out like this. Because now I see who you are. And when people show you who they are, believe them. Don't have people showing you who they are 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 times, because you really just have one life. The time that you're taking to prove to people, no, I'm here, love me, why don't you love me? You could use that same energy to creating the love that you so deserve. And it took me a good 2 days to sit with me and realize that, girl, you're in Ireland. You're surrounded by people that want to have dinner with you at the end of the day. You're creating the family that you want. You have your mama that loves you, and I did apologize to my mother and my sister for crashing out. I did. I apologized, and my sister also, telling you, she's 10 years younger than I am, and she told me, like, these are things that you really need to heal from. And like you can't tell me this, girl. I know this, but thanks for letting me know. So that's my goal for 2026. I am not going to keep dabbling in a relationship where it would have never worked out anyways. And I've thought so much about all this. Why didn't he show up to any of my graduations? Why didn't he show up to my wedding? Why would you just want to post me with wrong details when I graduated from the University of the Virgin Islands? He didn't come to my graduation, even though he knew a year in advance that I was graduating. But what he did do was post and said that I had my associates when indeed I got my bachelor's. Anywho's. And it hurt for a while knowing that this really is my life, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one living this life. And it's okay. It's okay. And I'm going to be okay. But I can't stay that version of me that bends and feel as though I somehow need this person to exist. I've been existing without them for years. I'll never say to anyone you can't change, because you should. You should 100% change. Change is good. And know that I am blessed. Like, I am lucky. I was lucky from the day that I got, like, I swam and beat all the other embryos. I was blessed the day I was born. And it doesn't matter who thinks that I'm undeserving, because I know I am. So I'm doing 2026 differently, because last year I was sad. I was staying home. I was in the bed I was working from my bed. I felt like I almost failed my team, and I worked too hard for this freaking coffee farm to fail my team. And my team works too hard for me to fail them. So I'm arranging my focus, I'm rearranging it. I'm also getting over a cold, a really bad cold that I got in Ireland. But I know that I am worth it, and I can't do the things that I did for the past 15 years to protect myself. I can't do that for the next 15 years of my life. So I'm doing all the things that I love. I love helping people. I love listening. I love talking. One of the things my mom said that really hit me, she told me that there was a switch that went off in my younger years, but she didn't know what it was because I just got really, really quiet and I would stay by myself, and that is how I am still. I probably won't change staying by myself because I'm peopled out. And that's just because it depends on the type of people. I love good company, I do. And even saying this now, like just having the space to myself to speak feels great. And this is how we're starting 2026. Today is January, today is January 14th. More work. Today is January 14th. I'm taking my butt to work so I can post this a little bit later, but I've already started working on my goals for this year and I'm going to share them. I'm also changing a lot of what I do. I'm cutting back on my drinking habits. That doesn't work. I'm moving my body and my mind more. Don't ask me how I'm gonna move my mind, girl. I'm gonna move my mind. And I'm doing things that I love. And who don't like it, that's I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I know this. I was actually listening to this podcast this morning that my uncle sent. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
Luxurious life ahead of you is going to important people in the world. You don't know. If someone asks me what food I like, I say I think truffle oil is a mate. Respect people with less power than you. I had asked name politicians. I will judge you on how you treat the least powerful. So there. Finally, don't rush. You don't need to already know what you're going to do the rest of your life. Don't panic. You will soon be dead.
Think I am closing this off with just a little bit of patience with Tiffany. Don't rush. I know you feel that you've wasted quite a lot of time, but you didn't. Life happens exactly how it's supposed to happen. Exactly how it's supposed to happen. And plus, what are you gonna rush for? We're all gonna die anyway. Don't rush. Take it slow, take it day by day, and just continue to have faith in yourself. See you next time.